I just want to share that recently I discovered Abraham teachings, and I started changing my thinking to more positive thinking, to focus on positive thoughts, and literally magical stuff started to happen down to...
Fine, we don't want to interrupt you because we like where you're going, but we just want to say, instead of saying more positive thinking, let's start saying more satisfying thinking. Just try that for a little while. Sometimes there's a big gap between the positive and the negative, but more satisfying will lead you right to what you're looking for. Yes, and then?
Well, and then I just recently went to visit my grandma, and I had 2 seats for myself on a plane on the way there and then on the way back, which was just mind-blowing to me. And this kind of stuff just started to like happen one after another.
Have you been playing the satisfied game a little bit? Do you notice that the more satisfied you are, the more things to be satisfied about come to you? And the more dissatisfied you are, the more things to be dissatisfied about come to you? It's just law of attraction responding to your focus. Yes.
Yes, and this way when I don't feel satisfied or I'm feeling down, it's like almost like, oh, I really want to go back to high-flying this.
So step 1 is contrast causes you to know what you don't want, dissatisfied, and helps you to know more what you would like. And so that step 1, which is asking, is such an important step. And about 5% of your life experience, that's what you planned on spending in that step 1. Step 2 is source answers. Step 3 is you get into the receptive mode. Step 4 is you're really good at being in the receptive mode. It's interesting. Step 4 is just step 3 really good. It's mastery of step 3. It's more consistent step 3. And then step 5 is you're back in step 1, but it's okay with you because you know step 1 is important to the equation. So you're not mad at yourself because you're dissatisfied. You know you're fine-tuning. You know that you're reevaluating. You know you're doing sifting. And you're not going to make a career out of being there in risk management. But
so I kind of got hold of like stuff that used to bother me a lot, like money-wise and all sorts of stuff. But one thing that I still struggling with is that me and my husband are trying to have a kid for a while, and it's just not happening yet. And I noticed that when I'm not expecting it, then if it's not happening, it is what it is. It is what it is. But when it seems like it's going to happen, or at least because I really want it, and it's not happening, then it's like really knocks me down to like the ground level.
Well, we just want you to know, if you can manifest an empty seat next to you on an airplane, you can do anything. There have been so many people who have been in a situation where they feel that they are having a problem with conceiving. And so finally they receive an inspiration to do something else and sometimes adopt a baby. And then they get pregnant. And so what happened was when they didn't have a baby, they were feeling dissatisfaction in lack of baby. But then when they adopt the baby, now they're feeling satisfaction in baby. It's about not letting the now reality be the only reason that you feel. Because if you're only responding to the now reality, to the what has already manifested, then it can't change. And for someone like you who wants so much to understand this, it's just a little bit of fine-tuning, that's all. That's all.
Okay.
And if there's ever been a subject where we could talk more about enjoying the journey, we don't know what it is.
Yeah.
It's so nice to know what you are wanting and then to receive an impulse and then to follow through on the impulse. It's how all creation works. All creation. And in the beginning, when there is that baby in the womb, it's not really a baby, it's sort of like a little glob. But it's interesting how you understand that once that pregnancy has been confirmed, then you allow yourself to feel more satisfied. And we want you to be willing to be more satisfied even before there is that. In other words, even before there is any physical manifestation, there is energy that is flowing. And as you feel the satisfaction about the energy that is flowing, What you're saying is, I need evidence of what I want before I will really let myself be satisfied. And we say, be satisfied in the idea of it. Be satisfied in the knowing of the desire of it. Be satisfied in what your inner being knows about it. Because it is always true. When you find dissatisfaction, your inner being is looking at something in an entirely different way than you are.
You see, what's I think my issue is that I feel like I should not even like anticipate anything. Because if I'm in a state of mind that
think about what you're saying. Think about the impossibility of what you're saying. What you were really saying is, I should not desire because my desire is not an instant manifestation. So if you should not desire, then you should not be here exploring contrast at all. And of course, you're here exploring contrast. You're giving birth to desire. You've already given birth to desire. Now give birth to some expectation. And then give birth. So say again what you just said. It feels almost as if I should give up my desire. Do you know? You cannot go back. There's no regression. Once this time-space reality has caused you to launch this rocket of desire, you can amend the desires, but your desire is firmly there. And the only place that satisfaction will ever come to you, the only place it comes from, is when you allow yourself to line up with your desire. Ooh, and think about it. Think about how so many have given birth to so much that's in their vortex. And then, because they need to see the manifestation, they're not willing to allow it to evolve and feel satisfaction along the way. Hold themselves in discord of something that they want so much. That's what makes you tired about life. When you get into this receptive mode, it's the replenishing mode also, you see. So any negative emotion that you ever feel, anytime you are in the moment of negative emotion, it means every single time you are denying yourself something important that's in your vortex. Every single time. And it further means that your inner being is not denying it. So it's the separation, too strong a word, between you and your inner being that the negative emotion actually is. Isn't this putting creation in a whole new place for you to consider? Most humans are just looking at what's already manifested, and this is reality, and we say, that's just a piece of reality. That's just an old dried up, chewed the flavor out of a piece of gum of reality. Where the satisfaction is in the journey that's in the process of becoming. And so there are all of these things that you are in the process of unfolding, and some of them are manifesting, and some of them are just beginning, and some of them are manifesting, not unlike the population of your world. Some of them are dried up pieces of gum. And some of them are just getting started, but there's this out and in and 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 out and in. So your old ideas chewed all the flavor out of them, but the new idea is still coming. When you finally get it, that you're not ever going to get it done, and so you stop needing the manifestation in order to be happy. In fact, the manifestation is just part of the process, but this is too.
I have another question. But to talk to your spiritual guides. So I started to imagine that I'm talking to spiritual guides. And then I think sometimes I'm asking myself if I'm just imagining if I'm just talking to myself, or am I really talking to...
Well, we understand why you feel that way, because in the beginning especially, it is a subtle connection. But you can tell for sure by the way you feel, whether it's coming from source or whether it's coming from man's conscious mind. You can tell by the way you feel. You can tell by the clarity of it or the feeling of it. You can feel by the flow of it. You can tell. And so don't talk yourself out of it. You often are in the receiving mode.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I started to think maybe I'm just starting to if you want something a lot and you forcing. I'm am I just forcing it and imagining?
Here's a clue. Anytime you're trying to force something with your thoughts, it's not satisfying. It's bulky, it's awkward, it's bulking, it's uncomfortable. When you try to use your physical being to bang things into place rather than utilizing the energy that creates worlds and the leverage of that, you can feel such a difference. Especially those of you who are musicians or artists or lyricists, or those of you who call yourself creative. Everything is creative, but those things that you think are creative, or the athlete who can feel when you're in the zone. You can feel when you're tuned in. You can feel when you're in hyperdrive. You can feel when you're utilizing that leverage, that power, that energy. You can feel it. And in the beginning of tapping into it, it is subtle. And that's why we're asking you to not ask for the whole manifestation so that you know how powerful it was. Just ask yourself, is this satisfying? And if it is, stay with it until it becomes more satisfying, until more momentum builds, until in time you will know for sure. There's no question in your mind where it is coming from, you see. Esther always said, because she worried about that too in the early days, because it's subtle at first. And she would always stand at the podium, or in the beginning she was sitting because she didn't feel stable enough to stand. But her mental projection to us always was, I want to speak clearly your words, because she knew that she was a translator of vibration into word, but she didn't want her words to be in the way. Well, we explained to her, and she understands the experience of it. It's where you're at when you are listening that matters. If Esther were in the back having a fight with somebody about something, and then she comes out and she's nowhere near the receiving mode, and she begins receiving thoughts, you got to know they're not coming from Abraham. They'd be coming from the thought forms that are still in the hallway. You can tell by the way you feel, you see. You all have the ability to stream consciousness. The question is, where's the consciousness coming from that you're streaming? Are you part of an angry mob? Have you picked up on the pushing against in such a strong way that those words are just rolling out of you because you're part of that? And you feel that hatred in your solar plexus because you're streaming it, but it doesn't feel good while you're streaming it. Where's this stream of consciousness coming from, you see? Every thought that has ever been thought still exists. And law of attraction gathers them into streams, you see. So just hold your intention with clarity and be in a good place when you listen. And pay attention to what you hear when you do listen. And then watch what unfolds.
Thank you.
Really good.
Thank you.
Really good.